Today we're going to learn how to divide a decimal by a decimal. First, we're going to find the answer to 3 99 hundredths divided by 84 hundredths. As you can see, there is a decimal in our divisor, which can be found right here. You can't divide when you have a decimal in your divisor. So what you must do is multiply that divisor out. As you know, when we multiply by zeros, we are going to be moving that decimal to the right. I am going to be multiplying this number by 100 so that I can swoop this decimal to the right once, 2 times. If I'm doing that on my divisor, I must also do that on my dividend. So this decimal is also going to be swooping once, swooping twice, and my new decimal is going to go right after the 399. Now, my new problem, to give us some clean space, is 399 divided by 84. To figure out this problem, it is just a simple long division problem. I'm going to guess that 84 goes into 399 4 times. So I'm going to take my answer out to the side, and I'm going to perform 84 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, carry my 1. 4 times 8 is 32 plus 1 is 33. I'm going to subtract 336 from my dividend, and your answer is going to be 63. Because 63 is less than 84, I know that I performed my answer right, so I can put a 4 above the 9. The next thing I must do is I need to add a 0 to the end of my problem. And you always do this because there are no remainders when you're working with decimals. Next, that 0 that I just added is going to go straight down below next to my 63 to make it 630. I am going to estimate that 84 goes into 637 times. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 8 is 56 plus 2 is 58. I'm going to take 588 and subtract it from 630. If I do my problem correct, I'm going to have to borrow and subtract. 12 subtract 8 is 4. So now I have 42 as my remainder. Because I'm not done, I'm going to be putting this 7 up above the 0 and adding another 0 to the end of my problem, bringing the second 0 down next to the 42. I'm going to guess that 84 goes into 420 about 5 times, so I'm going to do my work on this on the other side. 84 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20, carry my 2. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 2 is 42. I'm going to put my answer 420 down below and subtract, which, if I do my problem correctly, I will have 0 left over. Because I know 5 was a good match, I'm going to put that right above. The last thing I need to do is figure out, well, where does my decimal go in my answer? Your decimal always goes straight above. So my answer, as you can see, is going to be 4 75 hundredths. Let's do another problem that is similar. This time I'm going to do 43 2 tenths divided by 6 tenths. Notice again, I have a decimal in my divisor. To multiply that decimal out, I need to figure out how I can get it out of my divisor. This time, I'm going to be multiplying by 10 so that I am moving my decimal over one place to the right. I must also do the same thing with my decimal in my dividend. Therefore, this new problem is only going to be 432 divided by 6. I'm going to finish my problem just how I usually do when I'm working with long division. 4 goes into 43 7 times, so I'm going to put my 7 up above the 3. 7 times 6 is 42. 43 subtract 42 is 1. I need to bring down my 2 next door. And 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. And I know I am done when my answer turns into a 0. Now I need to make sure that my decimal goes straight up. So my answer is going to be 72 or 72.0. This will be the last problem I explain for today. This problem is going to be 104 thousandths divided by 8 hundredths. Now with this problem, I still have my decimal in my divisor. I'm going to be multiplying it by 100 so that I can swoop it 2 times. So now it is coming after the 8. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to swoop my decimal in my problem so that my new decimal is going to be after the 0, making 10 and 4 tenths. So if I were to rewrite this problem, it would just look like this: 10 and 4 tenths divided by 8. Now I'm just going to complete this problem like usual. 8 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. 10 subtract 8 is 2. Bringing down my 4. 8 goes into 24 3 times. And 8 times 3 is 24 with 0 left over. Now I have to make sure that my decimal goes straight up in my answer. So my answer is going to be 1 3 tenths. Now I want you to try these problems at home on a scratch piece of paper. The first problem that I want you to do is this: 1 61 hundredths divided by 7 tenths. Pause this video to solve. Now we're going to go over the answer. The first thing I need to do is I need to multiply this decimal out. So I'm going to multiply the divisor by 10, and then I'm going to multiply the dividend by 10. Next thing I need to do is complete the problem like usual. 7 goes into 16 2 times. 7 times 2 is 14. 16 subtract 14 is 2. Bring down my 1. 7 goes into 21 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. When I subtract, I get 0, so I know I am finished. Now I just have to remember to bring my decimal straight up in my answer to get an answer of 2 3 tenths. Let's try another problem. Practice problem number 2. I want you to do 7 2 hundredths divided by 3 9 tenths. Pause so that you can answer this question. To solve this question, I need to first multiply out my dividend decimal by 1. I need to also do that the same with my dividend. Excuse me, that one was divisor. So now my new decimal goes right here, and I'm going to be doing a long division problem. I know 39 goes into 70 only one time. 1 times 39 is 39. Next thing I need to do is subtract. I'm going to borrow from my 7, make it a 6, and put a 1 next to my 0. 10 subtract 9 is 1. 6 subtract 3 is 3. 31 is less than 39, so I know that I am good to go. The next thing I need to do is bring down my 2. I'm going to estimate about how many times I think 39 can go into 312. Well, you guys know what I like to do first is take this 39. Think what my answer would be if I were to multiply it by 10. It would be 390. So I'm going to guess for this answer that it's either going to be an 8 or a 9. I think I'm going to try an 8. I'm going to take 39 and multiply it by 8 out to the side. 9 times 8 is 72. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 7 is 31. So I know 8 was a good guess. I'm going to put 31 underneath my 31, or 312, in my question and subtract. 8 was a good guess, so I'm going to put it in my answer up above. Now, because I have a 0 as a remainder, I know I am done, but I have to remember to put my decimal up. Your answer is going to be 1 8 tenths. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed watching our first class tutorial.